Hi there. Welcome today to our talk on mindfulness. Today we will be talking about how the mind can become overwhelming and chaotic. And you may be familiar with that in yourself, maybe not. Um, but before we talk about that in particular, like how the mind can become like a tornado, I want to talk a little bit about what the benefits of mindfulness practice are, what they can be, right? And you've probably noticed some benefits. Hopefully, you've been here for a couple of other sessions we've done, or maybe a bunch of sessions we've done. We've been doing this for over a year, like every Friday, pretty much for over a year. I've been here trying to teach about mindfulness. So, um, yes, so the benefits, right. So oftentimes it can be calming, although mindfulness practices aren't always calming. Sometimes they just help us notice what is, and what is isn't very calm. Um, but oftentimes mindfulness practices do help with a sense of calm. Another thing they do is they can help us really to enjoy moments. If there's a moment of a beautiful sunset, or a moment with another person, or a moment where you're in the shower and you just feel how lovely that warm water is. Mindfulness can help us be present for those moments in a way that we weren't present before. Maybe we just kept thinking about things all the time. But mindfulness helps us be present in moments of perhaps joy or peace or calm or happiness even. But today, we're going to talk about how mindfulness can also help us be more aware of like the craziness in our own brains. And how can that be a good thing? I don't know. Maybe I'd rather not be aware of the craziness in my own brain. But it really can help us to be more aware of what goes on, because like in my brain I can be pretty spun up sometimes. My brain can say very negative things to me that I wouldn't say to other people, but I might say it to myself. I certainly would say it to myself. I mean, I try not to because I practice mindfulness, but we can be aware of how our brain can say some pretty negative things to ourselves or about other people even. Our brain can be pretty insistent, and it can also get us stuck or keep us stuck, going round and round on the same kind of thought. So mindfulness can help us be aware of these things. Once we're aware of these things, it can help us to make different choices, right? As long as I'm not aware of how my brain can be negative, then I'm going to keep doing exactly what I did. But once I am more aware of it, I can make different choices. I can endeavor to make different choices more often. And last but not least is it can help me recognize that I'm not crazy. People routinely feel kind of crazy, like their mind is, what's going on? Why do I do the things I do? People can be self-critical, and one of the ways they feel is they feel kind of crazy. Well, I would like you to know that you have company, that if your brain can go a little bit nutty, it can make you feel a little bit crazy. Well, there you are with me and many, many other people. Everyone who's listening today probably struggles at times with feeling a little crazy. So, you're not crazy. You just have a brain that can do some crazy things sometimes. Today we're talking about how the brain can get kind of spun up, right? The words I used were kind of overwhelming and chaotic. So I'd like you, before we get started, because we will start here in a moment with a meditation. Before we get started, think about a time or times when you get spun up, your mind gets spun up. Perhaps you have a sense that your mind can be like a ping pong table, back and forth, back and forth. Although for me, when I get spun up, it's more like a pinball machine. Remember the pinball machines, and the things go bam, 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 bam. And sometimes there's a controlled way that you're kind of impacting them to go back and forth, and other times they just go and kind of take off That's my brain sometimes. One of my clients at one point told me that her brain is like a ticker tape. It's just going constantly, kind of pretty fast, but just, I think she was meaning it's almost like on this big repeat. Fast paced, ticker tape, stuff she's supposed to do, kind of like on repeat. But today we're really talking about what if the brain feels like a tornado? Even if it doesn't, we're going to do this exercise together. Okay? Sometimes the brain can feel like a tornado. Big, powerful, a mind of its own, taking off, a sense that you have no control. So we'll have you bring a situation to mind, and we'll have you invite your mind to feel spun up, and then we'll use our meditation practice to slow it down. So, getting started, I'd like you to sit comfortably in your chair. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. I'd like you to allow your chair to support you. So kind of sinking into your chair, relaxing. And bring your awareness to your breath. Noticing the inhalation. Noticing the exhalation. At your own pace. Maybe just for the heck of it, speed up for 2 or 3 breaths. Quick breaths. And notice what that does to your body. Then we'll have a couple of regular breaths, just noticing regular breathing. And then let's have a couple of breaths where you just go a little deeper on the exhale. Regular in-breath and deeper on the exhale. 2 of those. Deeper on the exhale. Good job. Still with your eyes closed, let's have you bring to mind a difficult situation or a difficult way of feeling. When you're feeling spun up, chaotic, perhaps panicked. But we're noticing kind of how things are in the mind. So you can also notice how things feel in your body. But we're noticing how things are in the mind. Spun up, chaotic, ping-pongy. I'd like you to have an image in your mind of a tornado. Perhaps it's in your mind. Perhaps you're picturing it from the side. You're aware of it going round and round. It's spinning. There's a certain speed to it, a pace. And you're aware of its movement around. You're aware also of things being in it. You don't have to identify exactly what they are, but you're aware that there's stuff in there, including dust and dirt and stuff that it's like picked up. The tornado's just picked up all this stuff. It's a mess in there. Movement, mess, many things. So you're aware of this tornado. It's difficult, it's powerful. One could almost say it has a mind of its own or a movement of its own. So here you have this image of a tornado. And while you have this image, I'd like you to deepen your breath a bit. A little bit deeper on the inhale, a little bit deeper on the exhale, always in a way that feels sustainable and doable. And as you're observing this tornado, I'd like you to slow it down a little bit. So that this tornado begins to slow, even if a bit. Slowing down with your breath as you're breathing a bit more deeply. The tornado continues to slow some, revolving more slowly, losing some of its force. Some of the things that were caught up in this tornado start to fall out. Some of the sense of chaoticness starts to feel less chaotic. The sense of panic feeling a bit less panicky. Indeed, the tornado continues to slow as your mind slows and as your breath continues. Your breath doesn't have to get deeper and deeper and deeper. Nope, you just start out with a breath that's a bit deeper in, a bit deeper out, and you continue with that breath. As you slow down the hurricane of your mind, bringing your awareness again to your breath. This deeper way of breathing, a slower way of breathing. That has helped the tornado slow down. Maybe it stopped, I don't know. Focusing on the in-breath and then the out-breath. Feeling grounded in your body, perhaps by feeling your bottom on the chair, perhaps your elbows on the chair, perhaps your feet on the floor, your thighs resting. So you've slowed down the tornado, you've focused on your breath, you've deepened your breath, and you're feeling grounded in today, in your room, on your chair. And as you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes whenever you're ready. Good. Good job. I'd be very interested to know how that exercise was for you. What seemed to work? What maybe didn't work so much? And what part resonated? If it was a tornado or ping pong. I have noticed that when I feel kind of chaotic, there's a sense of panic for me in my upper chest. I feel kind of almost like swept away, and the gesture's always off and up. That's how it feels to me, kind of swept away. It might feel differently to you, but I mentioned that to one of my clients today, and she said, no, for her it's not swept away and up, it's kind of swept down, almost like a sense of drowning, right? A sense of being swept under. But then as we get better at having a sense of groundedness, she had a pillar of groundedness. As we get better at having a sense of groundedness, then we can reconnect back to our sense of groundedness when we want to. Right? So as we're more familiar with how it feels to be swept away or panicky or swept under, but we're also aware of what it feels like for us, for you specifically, what your groundedness feels like, then over time you can get better at returning to your sense of groundedness more often. So I'd like you to come back here next week where we will be talking about, identifying your emotions. So we use our mindfulness practice to identify your emotions. And I hope you come back next week at noon, Jefferson Educational Society Live Facebook feed. And may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you feel safe. And may you find peace. Bye-bye.